Hey guys, this is Charlie, one of the developers of Plothound and Canopy. In this video, I want to kind of walk you through our Canopy system, show you how to set up cruises, assign cruises to different cruisers, and then how to access the reports once you finish cruising. This video will be followed up by a Plothound video that will actually show you how to take one of these cruises that you created in Canopy and actually use Plothound to collect the field data. So we're on the login page here, so I'll go ahead and put my credentials in. This is just a demo account that I have set up, so do that. And once you log in, this first page you come to is the dashboard page, and on here it kind of gives you some high level stats on what cruises you have going on, the progress of each of those cruises, and then would also show for any completed cruise. You can click on that and get the data back. So right on this particular account, we have one completed cruise, and we don't have anything else in progress. So we'll start off, we'll go into the settings real quick, kind of show you your different options as far as adding people to your account and managing those managers and cruisers. Then we'll go into our merch specs, show you how to set up a merch spec for a cruise. Then we'll go through and manually set up a cruise and kind of show you the different options there. And then we can also go over how you can upload a shapefile of a stand boundary and set up a cruise automatically. So let's take a quick look at our settings. So in here we have, you can edit your personal information, your company information, your subscription level. If you wanted to upgrade your subscription from the free level to get volume reports, you would do that on this page. And then your team here. So this is probably one of the most important tabs in your settings. This is where you can invite managers and cruisers to join your account. So managers have higher level, I guess higher level of privileges on your account. They can see merch specs, they can change merch specs, set up cruises. Cruisers can only collect field data. They don't have the ability to, I guess, change any settings or create any merch specs. And you have options to upgrade and downgrade users on your account. So if I wanted to invite a new manager, I could just put their email address in here and hit invite. And then also if I want to do a cruiser, I would just pick cruiser from this pull down list. And then down here it'll show you who you have pending invitations out to. Okay, so now we'll touch on our merch specs real quick. So this is where you define the products that you want to collect in your cruise, whether it be like pine saw timber, hardwood saw timber, and you can have as many merch specs as you want on your account. So if you're cruising tracks in different areas, you can have a merch spec set up for each of those particular areas. So we'll take a quick look at this southern demo merch spec that I have set up. So in this particular merch spec, I'm recording pine saw timber products, pine chip and saw, pine pulp, hardwood saw, and hardwood pulp. And for each of these products, we can give it a little bit more information. We can tell it, what species is applicable for this product call. So for pine saw timber, we'll take a quick look here. I have these southern yellow pines having the ability to get that pine saw timber product call, and we could change these. These are just simple check boxes. We can give it a min diameter and max diameter, min top diameter and min log length. You can also set your volume output here, or your volume units. And for this hardwood saw timber, or these hardwood products, I simply have a species set to catch all. That just means that any species can receive that call. Okay. So go ahead and save that. We'll go back to our dashboard. So now we'll go through and manually set up a cruise. So we can go through all the different options. And so to set up a cruise, we first need to set up a stand to hold that cruise. So we'll call this test cruise 1. If you want to give it a tag, you can. Tags are simply used to filter cruises later on. So if you had 2 cruises with the same tag, you could filter that down to get access to those pretty easily. Let's see, so I'll just zoom into Roanoke Virginia, because that's where I am. I don't think I spelled that right, so we'll grab it again. We'll zoom outside of the city here. Yeah, so you have an option to make a pretty complicated polygon, or you could also use this square option just to drag a square around. But we'll go ahead and use this. Okay. And then, yep, go ahead and create. So now we have a stand created that's 103 acres. Now we can set up our cruise within the stand. So we'll click on Create Cruise. Okay, so this brings up the cruise creation page. We have options to change our variation, confidence, and preferred levels. Any changes to these, these values are also fed into a number of plots calculator, which will give a recommendation on how many plots we think you need for that stand. So if you change any of these, if you increase the variation, it's going to change the number of plots that we recommend. So you could go with that estimate, or you could input your own. You can enter the number of plots you want either by doing total plots per stand. So let's say I want 20 plots for this stand. I just put 20 in there and hit Create Grid, and it will generate the grid. If I want to do one plot every 2 acres, I could just put 2 in there and hit Create Grid, and that gives me 52 plots. So let's back this back down to 20 so it's easier to see. We do different grid types. This is a hexagonal grid. We can also do a square grid. We could do a rectangle grid. And with a rectangle grid, we have the option to specify the spacing between your X and Y axes. So if we want to do a 400 by 200 foot grid, we could use a rectangle grid to get that. And so you may have noticed, but anytime you change one of these options to regenerate the grid, you have to click on this Create Grid button. If you wanted to run your grid at an angle, so say you wanted to do a 45-degree rotation, you can just put your degrees in this input box up here, then Create Grid, and it applies that rotation. The stand enter buffer feet option, if you enter a value here, let's say like 50 feet, it'll drop plots that are within 50 feet of the stand boundaries. You can do a sampling method. So we support most any type of sampling method. These are the most common ones. If for some reason there was an option that your organization typically uses that is not included in this list, we could add that for you. But we'll go ahead and grab a 10th acre. Here you grab your merge spec that you have set up. So in this account I had the Southern Demo one, which we looked at, and then we also had another one that's kind of a default one for the organization. But any merge spec that you have created would be in this pull down menu, and you could select it. This cruise protocol, so this specifies what fields you want to collect in the field, or kind of what data fields you're collecting. And that is something that you would need to contact us to get set up. But once we set it up for you, then it will be available in this pull down list. We'll grab this Southern Protocol one. And then here's where you assign the cruiser for this particular cruise. So I'll assign myself to it. But after you set the cruise up, you have the option to go in and actually pick and choose what plots you want to assign to different cruisers, and I'll show you how to do that as well. If you had a contractor on your account, so if you wanted to contract this cruise out to somebody, we could set that up, and then you could just, similar to the way you select a cruiser, you would select a contractor here. So it looks like we have everything set up. We have a grid with 51 plots. So we'll go ahead and hit create. Oh, looks like this, okay, yep, I think I needed a 0 in there. So we'll just go ahead and redo this with 20 plots. Okay, so now we have a grid set, or a cruise set up. Now we'll go through and show you how you can upload shapefile with some of the necessary information to automatically generate a cruise. You can either upload a shapefile, a KML file, or a KMZ file. And if you want to automatically generate a cruise, you have to include some specific information in attribute tables. You have to include the number of plots you like, the sampling method you want to use for that cruise, the cruiser you want to assign it to, the contractor, so it's either cruiser or contractor. And you'll notice that these field values, these are the actual values you would enter in the attribute table. Grid type, if you don't include this, we default to a hexagon grid. Similarly for cruise protocol, you can input the particular protocol you would like. If you don't enter it, we default to whatever we have set as the default protocol for your account. Inner buffer, you can put that in there. If you don't put anything in there, it defaults to a 0. Same thing for rotation angle. So I have a shapefile set up to automatically upload. We'll take a quick look at that. So this is just a stand boundary. We'll grab the attribute table and look at that real quick. So in it, I say I'm telling it I want 20 plots with a sampling of a 10th acre, and I'm going to assign it to this Charlie-PH demo cruiser. Okay, so I'll grab that stand and upload. Okay, so now we've uploaded the shapefile. We can give it a name. I'm gonna call this let's call this test upload. And submit. Okay, and now we have a cruise set up with that. So it's pretty simple to get data into Canopy, and if you had a shapefile with multiple stands in it, you could batch upload them all at one time and create multiple cruises. So now we'll go through and show you how to actually assign plots. If you wanted to take 50% of these plots and give it to one cruiser, another cruiser get the other 50%, you can do that by doing assign plots. So here you can pick and choose what plots you want to assign. So I'll grab these 2 western lines, and take those and assign it to this cruiser 2. So now cruiser 2 has 10 plots, and then the Charlie Wade user has 11. Okay, and also another pretty good feature about Canopy is that we don't make you use Plothound to do the cruising. Canopy and Plothound work well together, or the sync up. We're built for each other, but Canopy also has an option in there to upload data from other formats. So if you had a cruiser that didn't want to use Plothound, they could still use Canopy. So you click on this upload cruise data option, and in it you can download a template file to enter your data. So this is just an Excel file that details how you have to have your data formatted. Or if you wanted to use some other formats, so we accept T-Cruise uploads, but if you have something that's case specific, we could build an uploader specific to any organization's needs to get that data into Canopy. Okay, and then I guess the last part, we'll go through and look at a completed cruise and show you how the reports, how you can access the reports and what the cruise data looks like. So all our reports are in CSV formats right now. We're transitioning over to Excel files in the near future. But to access any of the reports, you'll click on these links here. So we have basic reports, cruise reports, and if your account was set up to receive volumes, you would also have a volume report. And the cruise report is your raw cruise data, so that's what a lot of people are really interested in, just getting that raw data back. And then for these completed plots, you could also look at these on Canopy and see exactly what data was collected for each individual plot. And then also, for quality control purposes, if you wanted to set up a check cruise to to audit a particular cruiser or a particular cruise, you can simply just hit create check cruise here. Then from this menu or this list, you could pick what cruises you want to audit. So I'm just going to do the Sail 1 audit. So hit next. Give this new check cruise a name. So I'll just call this check cruise test. You can tell it what percentage of plots you want to collect or want to audit, or you can actually give it a hard number of plots. So we'll say we want to do 50% of these plots. That gives us 3 audit plots. Then we'll assign this to a cruiser and then hit create. So that randomly selected 3 plots within that completed cruise, and set up a new cruise with those plot locations so you can go out to the field, collect the plot information, and then when you upload it back to Canopy, a check cruise report will be run. Yeah, so that's a quick overview of Canopy. The next video will show you how to open up Plothound and actually go out in the field and collect some of this data.